Live from New York, it's Ask an Engineer with a Gunblade.
Hey everybody, it's me, Lady Ada, who's also cosplaying as not so greatly as Squall Lionheart tonight with my awesome Gunblade. We'll be talking about this shortly, but first I'd like to introduce you to this divine and delicious Ask Engineer. Brought to you by the letter D. We'll talk about why today is the letter D for Ask Engineer. We got such an exciting show tonight. I'm going to totally limit break and maybe like cast some magic later. Maybe gain some experience points and...
I'm not quite sure what's going on anymore here.
Yo, just, hey, back off. I got to see for Noah.
I know.
Tell them what's on today's show.
On today's show, I'm no longer the sword of Lady Ada, it's now Gunblade. Now, the code is Gunblade. It's 10% off in the Adafruit store. That means 10% off everything except for gift certificates and, you know what else?
Software.
Software, EagleCAD. So 10% off everything except for that. Everything is in stock, 10% off. Gunblade all the way up to 11:59 p.m. tonight. We're going to talk about the show and tell. It was epic, amazing, incredible. Pack the mailbags and stop by. Hey, I've got the mail. You want the mail? I got the mail. Jobs board, best place online to post your skills and get a cool job if you're a maker. Maker companies posting up all the time. Adafruit learning system, new tutorials. Time travel, we'll look back in the world of making, hacking, artists, engineering, and more. Artistry, I should have said. Wearables, we'll go over some cool wearable stuff. We have a fantastic video from Becky Stern. 3D printing, you've guessed it. It's about Gunblades tonight.
Yeah, all Gunblades.
That's right. Raspberry Pi news. We'll have new products. We'll answer your questions. We have a trivia question. All that and more on, you guessed it, Ask an Engineer.
Woo!
All right. Let's do this thing.
Woo!
All right. So you're just going
Look at this Gunblade.
Yeah,
Isn't
I know.
Amazing. It's not sharp. I mean, I could probably poke your eye out, but it's not dangerous. It just has this rotate thing.
I know.
That's cool.
She walked around the Adafruit factory like this for like 45 minutes.
Yeah. Well, everybody wanted to pose with it, so they would take
Yeah.
like camera photos and selfies. Because everyone loves Final Fantasy VIII. I don't know. I've always wanted a Gunblade, and like, where are you gonna get a prop like this?
Yeah. So that's why the code is Gunblade tonight. 10% off in the Adafruit store. Let's kick this off, Lady Ada.
Yeah,
First up, we take Bitcoin, as everybody knows. If you still got them, I'd use them. I wouldn't really put that there at all in any way, shape, or form. Thanks.
Oh, wrong place for the Gunblade.
Yeah. $100 or more. Sorry, $200 or more. We're doing UPS Ground free. So that's the price tier. We'll really have some free items pretty soon. We just ran out of stuff. So $200 or more, continental US, free UPS Ground. And that's good, like, trackable shipping.
Yes.
Not like...
Not crummy.
Crummy.
Sure posty type.
It's neither shore nor post.
Yeah, sure post is not really insured or really posty.
Tonight's show is brought to you by the letter D from Lady Ada's Coloring Book Arts for Robotics. This is the letter D. We are on the fourth week or so. CD, yeah. D is for drone. And that also leads us to a big announcement. So in addition to the show being brought to you by the letter D drone, two things. On Sunday morning, myself and other people that are interested in drones, there was Chris Anderson, there was Helen, there was a whole bunch of drone people on Twitter, and we were all kind of going back and forth. I hopped on the conference call with the FAA and the DOT. And
yeah, you did that call. Yeah,
I recorded the full call.
There's like 300 people on it, right?
Yeah. And I recorded the call, and you can listen to the whole thing on the Adafruit site. Just go to the drone section. And it was about the new rules with drones, and it's very encouraging. And you should listen to the phone call because I don't think a lot of people give the government agencies credit. They're adapting very fast to a new technology. So it's coincidental that D is for drone this week, but it's not coincidental that we're announcing the biggest and best, and maybe only, Drone Film Fest and Photography Awards. It's the Dronies.
Okay.
So
that's a cute drone.
Yeah. So all you have to do is upload a video or a photo, put pound drone on it. We'll probably find it. We'll also be
Droney or pound drone.
Yeah, it's pound droney is a thing.
I know. Ask.
Yeah, and so it's pound droney, and we're gonna also be looking at great videos that we've seen out there.
Yes.
And we have a cool award that we're gonna be giving away.
Can other people nominate
Sure.
others? They can nominate themselves or others.
We'll have all the details soon.
Okay. It's coming soon. Not out yet. Don't ask.
Yeah. What I did want to do is go over the judges.
Okay.
So we put together. We have a couple more judges that are gonna join soon. But let me just give you a list of the people that are going to be judges. You ready?
Let's do it.
Annalie Newitz, she's the editor-in-chief of Gizmodo.
And she founded IO9.
IO9. And
Sci-fi
she was
geek, robot geek.
Yeah, and I've known her since she was at the EFF.
Doesn't she have stuff implanted in her too?
I believe so.
Yeah, she's a robot.
Becky Stern needs no introduction, but anyway, she's the director of wearable electronics here.
Here at Adafruit.
Carol Riley, surgical roboticist. She actually works and makes robots that do surgery.
That do surgery. Right?
Yeah. Also, she was on the cover of Make. Christy Canada, Autodesk and Instructables.
Co-founder of Instructables, now at Autodesk.
That's right. Daniel Applestone, CEO of Othermill.
Makes robots that cut out circuit boards and stuff.
Helen Grainer, CEO of SciWorks and former co-founder of iRobot. Sci-Fi Works.
Sci-Fi Works. She makes
drones.
Big drones.
Drones with a tether.
Tether drones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jessica Banks, Rock Paper Robot, which is a robotics furniture company. Jessica Califano, Director of Community Support and Publishing here at Adafruit. Lenore Edmond, Evil Mad Scientist. Need no introduction, but go to evilmadscientist.com.
She's one half of Evil Mad Scientist.
You.
Me. That's me.
Liz Upton, the co-founder of the Raspberry Pi Foundation. Sophie Kravitz, currently an author at Hackaday and also an electronic artist and engineer.
Yeah.
And Star Simpson from Orion Labs, also known for Tacocopter.
Tacocopter. Come on, we got Tacocopter on the board. You have to enter this contest.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you're going to win if you transport burritos by quadcopter, but if you do, you're going to be really high up in the running because clearly everybody wants delicious Tex-Mex food in the air.
So we'll have more details. That's the first round.
Okay.
We've announced the judges. It's a contest. I do need to say that Droney is a registered trademark of Twitter and its affiliates.
Thank you, Twitter, for letting us use the Droney trademark.
Yeah, it's theirs. They're letting us use it. We'll take good care of it.
Yes.
Okay, next up, Lady Ada. Every week at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have a party, and it's called the Show and Tell. And on the Show and Tell, people show and share their coolest stuff. What I like that's going on now is people are showing retro stuff because it's a little bit of a Radio Shack retrospective, and so we saw some cool stuff with that. We also saw some old tech. We saw things that are important in people's lives. This is my favorite half an hour. We started 7 minutes late, so this is my favorite 23 minutes so far this week.
Yeah, but we tend to do but sometimes we go over a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we had an awesome show, and it even started off with Noah and Pedro suggesting for people who want to do the show and tell and other videos, get the Logitech C920, which is it looks like an amazing webcam. This is looks really good. So people sometimes ask us, I want to do the show and tell, but I want to make sure I have a good camera. Check out the Logitech C920, and as for microphones, I don't know if it has a microphone built in. But it's definitely better than your built-in camera on your laptop or computer. It looked amazing. Tony Nicole, let's start out. He's Adafruit Northwest. He came on and showed off. He is beta testing the new Android app from Adafruit for Bluetooth Low Energy Control. Ooh, so he showed off controlling Raspberry Pi using the BLE friend, and from his Android tablet, he could send color information through a color picker, and it changed a ring of NeoPixels. So thank you so much, Johnny, for beta testing that. It's coming out soon. It's not out yet. Don't ask. We're still in the Google Play process.
Yeah, we're really happy. This is our first Android app, and turns out no one actually ever asked for an Android version of any of our apps. No, just kidding. No, they ask all the time.
They ask every 5 minutes.
We actually have to do it right, and there's a lot of different flavors and versions of Android, so we had to make sure we got it good and we got it right.
Also, not surprising, just because you have code written in iOS does not mean anything about having it ported to Android. You have to redo the whole thing.
Yeah.
But
Unity is an interesting development
concept,
platform, but you have to actually write
the BLE stuff. It's all the low end.
Yeah, it's all pretty low level.
So low level. Okay, but we did it, and it's going to come out hopefully soon. Noah and Pedro did a preview of tomorrow's 3D Thursday tomorrow, or any week, Thursday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They do a 3D Hangouts where they talk and show off and do demos and tutorials and everything about 3D printing, everything you could possibly want to know about 3D printing. And tomorrow's is a special edition. Tomorrow, February 19th, is a 1 hour special where they're going to be not only talking about everything they normally talk about, but doing kind of a demo, example 3D printing of the new Ember printer from Autodesk. This is the first, if you've heard about this, is apparently an extremely high quality, beautiful DLP printer, and they're going to be showing it off live and talking about it. And this is the first time I've seen any. We just got it a couple days ago, and we were one of the first people to get on the beta.
Yeah, so. We were on the beta. We got notified. We ordered the biggest software company that makes design tools. You're making maybe what might be one of the best 3D printers ever. So is it great? Is it really good?
Is
it not ready for prime time?
Find out tomorrow.
Find out tomorrow.
Anyways, so check that out as well.
Cliffhanger.
And they also talked a little bit about this week's project, which is going to be the Gunblade, which you've saw like 18 times already, and we'll talk about another 18 times. Phil B came by, and it's Radio Shack retrospective week, although it's actually Radio Shack retrospective decade. Like, you're allowed to show up on the show and tell with like ancient Radio Shack stuff for like 10 years. I'm totally cool with it. And he showed off a clear Radio Shack like princess phone type thing, right? It was
it was pristine. I actually had one
and
of these.
And it was crystal clear.
Crystal clear, and it was all like through-hole parts.
Yeah.
And he was mentioning from like very heavy, sturdy things and rotaries.
The phenolic stuff, yeah.
That they actually had to put chunks of metal so people felt like there was weight to it.
Yeah, because otherwise it would be so light.
You'd be like, whoa.
Whoa, it's air full of air. It's not, it's thin plastic.
It's gorgeous. If hey, Phil, if you're watching, maybe take some nice photos of that, just so we can put them somewhere. It was gorgeous.
Okay, next up, Julian came by. It's his first time, and he showed off a bunch of cool projects. He's also looking for work in Vancouver. He looks extremely skilled, and he's got all sorts of cool stuff in his shop. So if you're looking to hire someone, do check this out in Vancouver, Canada. He's an electrical engineer, physicist, software person.
Is he really from Vancouver? Is that right?
Didn't he say Vancouver, Canada?
I don't know. Wherever he is, check the show because he has a lot of cool stuff going on.
Anyways, he got cool stuff. Anyways, worldwide. Okay, we love everybody. And we love our neighbors to the north. He showed off a restored Microsoft Surface. I guess he got one used, and he like actually got it working again. And he's trying to get the drivers for the touch thing, the touch controller. So if you happen to have those drivers, let him know. And he also showed off a really interesting translucent planar display. It's like a 23-inch LVDS TFT where they took the backlight off and then edge lit it. And it's like the coolest thing I've ever seen. I kind of want to try building it. And I didn't even understand what it was. I was like, oh, it looks like a clear like piece of plastic with some drawings on it, but it's actually a monitor, which is really kind of cool and weird. Kind of want to do that. Maybe we'll build something like that. And then also a Taz printer, a Shapeoko, another handmade 3D printer. He's got a really cool workshop. So check out his workshop and his demos. They'll show up next week too. PJ came in with a Raspberry Pi portable that he made with a Lego body, and he used, I think, on our 3.5-inch TFT and a SDR, and probably running like a SDR software for software-defined radio, so you can like see radio waves on your Raspberry Pi. And he even gave it little feet. This Raspberry Pi portable. He's got a battery pack, and it looks super cute. Lon came in. Again, he's been working on an EVA foam tutorial primer. People like to use EVA foam for cosplay and like crafting and stuff, and it's kind of an interesting material that we see a lot of, and so he's doing a lot of experiments this week. His experiment is a glue test, so he tried edge gluing a bunch of different EVA foam just to see what glue is the strongest, or at least flexible or most flexible, so he'll maybe do a report on that. And also how to get metal cast look, so a metallic look to foam, and he used a sponge technique in this kind of silvery paint, and actually made it look, he made like a bracer that looked pretty much like it was cast out of steel or tin. Or like a lead, like a shiny lead. Roberto came in with a piezo Pi player, and he's using Java on a Raspberry Pi, and he's just sort of experimenting with a web interface that then plays little songs to the piezo. And finally, we had C. Scott, who came in with the board that he showed off last week. Last week it was at 1,452 air wires, and now he's down to 238 air wires, so he's making progress on the synthesizer. He also showed off a 20-year-old air temperature controller that he built after school. After he graduated from school, he worked at air temperature controllers.
Yeah.
And then finally, he pulled out his old Force MIMS notebooks because, again, like I said, it is Radio Shack retrospective decade. You have 10 years to think about how much you miss being able to pick up ferric chloride etchant and a Force MIMS book and a $20 HDMI cable.
But wait, there's more. He also, his daughter gave him a card, and it was
super sweet.
Super sweet, and you should watch that part of the video.
Okay, that's the good. That's definitely the best part of what he showed off.
Yeah.
And all of these people get
to get a seat on the show and tell sticker if you were on the show and tell, and you got show stuff. Email support@adafruit.com. And you'll get a seat on the show and tell sticker. Lady Ada, how do people get on the show and tell? Okay, so you want to show up on the show and tell, and you want to get a show and tell sticker. I understand. What you should do is you should go to our Google Plus page at plus.google.com/+Adafruit and look for the thread where we have like the little robot guy. Well, that's not a guy actually. It's an It's an Adabot.
It's an Adabot.
It's an Adabot.
No gender to Adabot. Where you see that robot, happy looking robot, and You say comment here to get added to the show and tell circle. Put your little comment. Say, hey, I want to show off something in the show and tell circle. Don't put anything spammy in there so you don't mark it as spam. And then we'll right click on your avatar and say add to circle, and then you will be added, and then you will join the other 500 really creative, awesome people that show off their crafts, their hacks, their makes, their workshops, their planar displays, their Eagle CAD routing, their Gunblades, their 3D printers, their Radio Shack retrospectives, their Force MIMS catalogs, Valentine's cards from their daughter saying how cool they are that they're an engineer.
Sometimes Carmen the cat stops by.
Sometimes there's a cat in a box. So that's fine.
Yeah. Okay. All right,
We're totally understanding. Whoa.
Okay.
Did you get the web card thing I wrote down?
What?
The webcam part?
Oh, it's all fine.
Okay.
All right. Don't forget, that's on 7:30. That's 7:30 Eastern Standard Time every Wednesday night, and then Wednesday, of course, the show that you're watching, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's time for Packet the Mailbag. People send us letters every single day. We like them. This week, Packet the Mailbag stopped by, and what did Packet bring? Oh, it was this email. This is from Brian. Brian says, I just wanted to send a kudos for being awesome. Too many times people only send messages when they have a problem or something to complain about. I just wanted to send a note to tell you that all the experience with the current project I'm working on, the interaction I've had with Adafruit, has been the best. I only ordered quantity 2 of the 24-channel PWM controllers. They arrived on time in great shape and with a library download. Thanks for making this part of the project the easiest. All the best, Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Brian. Okay, next up. Adafruit jobs board. I say this every week, but I'm going to say more. The jobs boards are the worst out there. They're the scammiest, most awful things in the world. There's identity theft that goes on them because like we track fraudulent credit card transactions and how people get their identity stolen. It is a mess. People get tricked to applying for jobs. It's a mess. It's awful. It's the worst thing in the world. So here's what we did. We used the open source jobber board system and we made adafruit.com/jobs. You can send a job to the board. Only Lady and I approve it. And as long as it is a legitimate job, it looks good, it's a maker-friendly job, we let it go. If you have skills and you want to work for someone, you can put up there. So we've had matchmaking with like IDEO and like big companies.
And sometimes we hire people from the board too. Somebody posted up that they do
we have.
Eagle CAD routing, and I was like, I have a couple projects that I just need to do a little bit of routing on. And I'm super busy. And I said, hey, can I hire you to do it? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. And then not only that, but he said he got 4 more clients. So he said, normally I would be able to do this in 1 week, but I actually have to give you a 2 to 3 week timeline because he's like, I got 4 or 5 other jobs. So like, if you have skills and a little bit of time and you want to transform that into monetary goods that you can then exchange for other goods in the this capitalistic economy, then post up.
What's going on? Since you got the Gunblade, you're crazy. Okay.
What? Shoosh, I'm gonna limit break.
All right. Lead engineer at Tembu. Reimagine programming for connected hardware. So basically, if you like to Yoon,
you got Internet of Things stuff.
Yeah, they got a job for you. Check it out.
Right here in New York, too. It's really cold, but it'll get nicer soon.
Okay, learning system.
We got a lot of tutorials this week. We're getting back into it.
Do you know how many tutorials there are?
We have 714 tutorials.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Is that true?
Yes.
Okay.
Should be.
Okay.
It's something around there.
What's the first one?
First up, we are doing more tutorials in our Linux series, which features this kind of animated Tuxie Penguin fellow who has a magic hat now. And what's neat is that we're building on the previous tutorials. So Brennan wrote this tutorial, and this one is about redirecting standard I/O streams. So if you've ever looked at like code or like read about Linux and you've read something called Studio and you're like, is that like studio misspelled or is that like some kind of weird STD? No, it's standard input output. And now you'll know how to control standard input output using things like pipes and T's and like carets and double carets. And it's a really good tutorial that shows the kind of tools that you use in Linux and Unix in general. We kind of say Linux, but by the way, all these apply to any kind of Unix. They're very non-specific. So like piping data between processes, which is kind of the power of Unix, and kind of what makes it a power tool. So check out this tutorial, especially if you want to brush up on your... I actually learned some stuff too. I never used tea, for example. Now I know how to use tea.
You know how to use it?
Yeah, I don't know why I just never used it.
Okay. Well, speaking of
That's cool.
beverages like that, now there's coffee. This one is the Cup of Sound. We'll be showing the video in a second. We all watch those studies hit the interwebs about how some people work better if they hear that they're like in a coffee shop or something.
Yeah.
So now you can take the coffee shop with you. This is a soundboard.
Yeah, it's a soundboard with a volume knob and an on-off button and a speaker. And it's cool because they found a cup that our speaker fits into very nicely. And actually, if you even put a little bit of hot glue in it, it'll actually sound really good.
Yeah.
And then you could just, over here, there's a micro USB port. You just plug it in and drag on up to half an hour of Ogg Vorbis audio, and it will just loop it whenever it's on. And so this is a really easy way to make a very high quality audio looper. It'll just loop seamlessly, basically forever. And she just shows a circuit diagram and how to connect the potentiometer for volume control, if you like. And I just love it because it's in a coffee cup. But even though this is a white noise generator, it's good for anytime you want to make a project that loops audio for like 30 minutes at a time.
Okay. Next up.
Well, this one's really cool, and it's also you should see the animated GIF. So check this out on the and it's such a good project. It's actually unclear what's going on here. So this is actually a cameo necklace. So it's one of those kind of Victorian or Edwardian necklaces that you would normally put like a carved ivory silhouette of you or like a person that you like, or just sometimes they just have a generic kind of silhouette. They're not very popular anymore. I haven't seen them in quite a while, but I remember in like the 90s I saw some people wearing cameos. But this one's an OLED cameo. So instead of having a carved ivory piece, there's actually an OLED display that flashes different images on it, so you can customize it. So it's kind of like a digital necklace, but it has this cute filigree. And also, this tutorial is by Leslie, and she shows how to tuck the battery into the ribbon so it looks like really kind of smooth and elegant. Taking advantage of kind of the elements of a cameo necklace to hide your wearables in it, which I kind of like. And this is very inspired because I know, like, I don't see cameos anymore, but she wanted to make a steampunk project, so this is even better. So you can dynamically change the silhouette on her cameo.
There's more.
So she called it the Cameo LED.
This is the DIY Bluetooth gamepad.
Oh, yeah, we've actually made similar Bluetooth gamepad stuff, but this one is fully 3D printed, which I think gives it a lot of props, because this is neat that you can actually make the whole thing without like cutting apart or taking apart or modifying like a keyboard or something. Normally we would like just take apart a game controller and like solder to it, but I think this is way nicer because it's much more compact. And of course you can have custom colors, and it's 3D printed, and it uses NinjaFlex for the buttons, and then for like a soft feel. And then inside is a Bluetooth and a LiPoly battery and backpack, and so you charge it, and then it works great with just about anything. You can use it with like Android or Apple phones also pair to Bluetooth keyboards, or Macs or Windows. What's really nice about Bluetooth Classic HID, it works with just about any operating system. So especially people who want to play Android games, because you can kind of get like emulators for Android, but then like you want to have a gamepad control, this can be a fun project.
Okay. And last up on the Learn System for the week, this is going to be the video we're going to be showing shortly, and the code of the evening, Gunblade.
Look at this cosplay. This is awesome.
Yeah.
This is like I'm so glad I put in a request for this, because they were making all these big swords, and I was like, hey, like, let's make a Gunblade. This is such a weird prop. But they did an amazing job, and it's cool. Even in this photo, it doesn't look 3D printed. It looks like this. Yeah. It looks like a modeled thing.
I remember years ago when you were telling me about why you want to start Adafruit, it was like to have this electronic shop with all the stuff you want. And I remember we were talking about, like, wouldn't it be cool if there was a place where people who do like costuming could come and get inspired, or do projects, or learn a new skill because they want to make a costume. And we're finally there with the learning system, with 3D printing, with wearable electronics, with the videos, with the photography, with storing the files to download them for easy access for all this stuff.
And last week we actually migrated our servers, which is really big news.
Yeah.
We won't talk about that, but we'll mention it briefly. We actually migrated Learn off to its own server.
Yeah, so we're doing a really good job making it so no matter what the Raspberry Pi Foundation releases, all servers will stay up.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Okay.
Anyways, I like this one. There's no electronics in this tutorial. It's just 3D printing. They used a Type A machine, but you can print this on many other machines. It's a 3-part design, and they have these like divots inside that you use a coffee stirrer stick basically to connect. And so I didn't even glue this one so I can take it apart. But it looks really great. And if you guys have requests for them, send them to Adafruit, and we'll if you have ideas, like, this would be a cool cosplay project.
The best thing to do is subscribe to the Adafruit YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, and put the comments.
Put stuff in the comments. We like stuff there.
We totally take suggestions. If you have suggestions for cool cosplay props, especially hard stuff like this, because this is a challenge.
We're here all week. Try the prime rib. Okay, next up, time travel. We look back in the world of making, hacking, artists, scientists, firsts in the world. Kind of like first engineer, doing lots of stuff all the time. You know.
I'm not the first engineer doing
first engineer. You're the first female engineer on Wired cover.
Yes.
So we celebrate first in all sorts of forms here at Adafruit. And one of the things that happened not too long ago, and this is Adafruit history that I get to do on time travel once in a while. So in 2010, we hit 1,000 blog posts.
Wow.
Yeah, there's tens of thousands of blog posts. 2013, which is...
Hey, that's the buddy on the micro SD. I remember that post.
Yeah.
And he was talking about the micro SDs.
Yeah. 2013 was pretty interesting. It was a Friday night, and we got a call from Google, and it was literally a call from Google. It said, like, Google on my phone. And it was someone from Google who said, basically, do you want to talk to the president? And so, you don't have a phone. So I said, Lamar,
I don't.
do you want to talk to the president? And we then arranged it, and you shortly after that asked the president on live Hangouts, just like we do, for patent reform, for Python is a computer science language that kids would learn in addition to or instead of a foreign language. And then you also asked, like, hey, are your daughters getting into STEM, the science technology?
That'd be cool.
Yeah. So that was just a couple years ago, and then 5 years before that, before now, we were at 10,000 blog posts. We're up to tens of thousands of blog posts. We have a lot. We post about 30 times a day.
I know. I can't even keep up with them.
So,
like between the engineering.
Yeah, okay. Flora is our wearable platform. We have Gemma. We have more coming, but
soon.
This week, this is the video we promised. This is the coffee cup.
Today we're brewing up a cup of sound. This is a white noise machine made using the Adafruit Audio FX board. It's useful for capturing that productive feeling you get working from a bustling cafe without the hassle of, going outside.
That sounds good.
You can get all the parts for this project in the shop on the Adafruit site, and the complete step-by-step tutorial is at the link in the description. The 16 megabyte version of the Audio FX board can hold up to 30 minutes of mono Ogg Vorbis audio, so I used Audacity to modify and save my sound file before loading it up. The audio board shows up like a flash drive when you plug it into the computer. We wired the output up to this separate audio amplifier so we could add a handy volume knob. The LiPoly backpack allows for easy USB recharging, and we thought an illuminated power button would look nice. Use stranded wire and heat shrink tubing on the potentiometer and quick connect wires on the power switch leads, and wire everything up on the permaproto according to the circuit diagram. Cut holes in the paper cup for the power button, potentiometer, and the USB port, and carefully mount everything inside. Here you go, Colin.
Oh, finally. Now I can get back to work on my novel.
Thanks so much for watching, and subscribe for more audio projects from Adafruit.
All right, so
Can have it like playing. It just sounds like a coffee house.
I'm gonna write that novel soon.
And I really want a latte.
I have a typewriter.
Okay. Yeah, there's some like typewriters in the cafes in like the East Village.
Yeah.
Would you ever type on them?
No. So I think it's neat because it's also like a good base for a bunch of projects that you can do, and light on the bottom and all sorts of things.
Well, I've seen that ones like there's web apps that do it, but I was like, it would be kind of neat if it was a physical thing. Also, another thing is it could. I was thinking like people could record sounds of like locations that they've been in if they want to remember that location.
Yeah.
Like I was actually thinking I might want to go next time we're at MIT. I might record 30 minutes of the Infinite Corridor.
That's
what
nice.
that sounds like, and so I can always listen.
One of the things that we're doing here is we're recording all the sounds of Adafruit, and we're turning it into a bunch of things you can download, and then we're also turning it into music. Okay,
music to my ears.
Yeah, don't forget, every Wednesday is Wearable Electronics with Becky Stern. It's 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it is the best and only live wearable electronics show in the world. That's it.
Totally.
There's just one. Web Electronics, Becky Stern. Okay, 3D printing. We have the Ember that's coming up tomorrow.
Yep.
On
Tomorrow's massive. This is a 1 hour show.
That's tomorrow, the 3D Hangout. So that's what's happening soon. And what's happening now is the Gunblade video. This is what you've been waiting for.
Limit break.
Hey everybody, Pedro here for Adafruit, and today we're going to show you how to build a Gunblade. We've made this free and easy to print design that we hope will please you Final Fantasy fanatics. The files are available to download and modify for free. You can get the materials needed for this project in the shop at adafruit.com. To start off, we'll find references to base the 3D models on, and after a couple of tweaks, we'll split the model into several parts to easily fit on our 3D printer. Mine is split into 4 different sections that include the blade tip, middle blade, hilt, and the handle tip. You can modify the design by editing the vector paths that make up the geometry. If you wanted the handle to fit differently, you can adjust the curves to fit your hand. You can then update the link geometry when you finish customizing. The parts are printed on our Type A machine's Series 1 3D printer. The 0.4mm nozzle can output high detailed parts with excellent precision. Its enormous build area lets you print cubes measuring 305mm. Use PLA for large accurate prints to keep warping down to a minimum. The custom support structures were created using Simplify 3D. They break away easily without leaving any sort of artifacts on the model. Here's a quick tip on 3D printing the blade tips. When printing small pointy objects, heat from the nozzle can spread throughout the object. This doesn't allow the layers to cool in time, and the model ends up looking melted. The trick here is to print 2 models spaced on the opposite side of the bed. You can of course print a smaller throwaway cylinder if you don't need 2 models. To give the handle a nice cushion grip, we'll use the new SemiFlex material from NinjaFlex. This prints with more detail and less material, among other features. Check out our review in a previous episode here. Go ahead and clean up the remaining parts using Haku flat pliers to remove the leftover support material. The cylinder is printed in one piece and is held up by a small amount of support material. Insert a small flat spatula into the cylinder and gently rotate until it can freely spin. Once all 4 pieces are clean, lay them out on a long table to assemble. Parts are held together with the aid of these awesome little skinny sticks. The flat size makes these perfect for holding blades together without taking up too much internal space. We'll go ahead and cut 6 of these down to 44 and 23mm each. Tolerances should be tight enough to dry fit all of the pieces together. Make sure that all of the skinny sticks aren't too small or too long for each part. Now we'll go ahead and glue the parts together using our favorite adhesive, E6000. Use a couple of drops in each slot and spread a small amount around the flat areas. Secure each stick into the slot and then add glue on both sides of each stick. You'll want to make sure that the handle tip isn't inserted upside down. Now we'll glue the SemiFlex handle grips on. Spread a small amount of E6000 around the flat bottom of the grips. Make sure to test fit the grips. The long cure time will give you plenty of time to adjust the grips until it feels comfortable in your hand. Curing takes about a day to fully dry, but if you're careful, you can continue gluing the rest of the blades together. Don't worry if you apply a little too much glue, it's easy to wipe excess off with your gloved finger or a cleaning wipe. Doing so will actually help seal and blend the 2 pieces together, hiding the seam. After all pieces have fully cured and dried, we can work on the details. Clean up any remaining materials around the trigger guard with a hobby knife, and then use a small file to completely smooth it out. Small leftover pieces can cut your finger while twirling the gun around if you don't clean out all of the support material. We'll complete the charm details by adding a medium split ring. Attach the included line pendant to a chain, and then use a clasp to attach that to the split ring, completing your new Gunblade. To make Squall's getup, you're going to need some pleather. You can safety pin a fur boa to the collar of a leather jacket. The leather pants, gloves, boots, and double belts bring out the detail in the costume. Alright, so that's the completed Gunblade. This was a lot of fun to model, and you can easily customize it and print your own. It's lightweight and easy to wield around for your next cosplay event. So what types of cosplay props would you 3D print? Let us know in the comments below. And for more modeling and slicing techniques, don't forget to tune in every Thursday to our 3D printing show. And don't forget to subscribe for more 3D printed projects from Adafruit. See you guys next week.
We got time. All right.
Okay.
So don't forget, watch these guys tomorrow. The best 3D printer operators.
Is this the
experts.
longest running live 3D printing hangout?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Lots of firsts. Remember, it's
This
like
is the
first. All
first.
about
This
first.
is the first
Okay.
and best.
We
And,
wanted
and
to,
it's amazing. And it's an hour long because they're going to be showing off the Ember
we
tomorrow.
wanted to go to the overhead to see the details on this.
Yeah, I want to show this off because this is amazing. First off, you can barely even tell, but this is split. And I didn't even glue it, like, so I can kind of pull this apart gently because I just wanted to be able to take it apart if I wanted to, you know, travel with it or whatever. But look at this great detail. So the Type A was able to do this little inset detail on the sword and like these sharp edges, and like there's like no cleanup needed. So I'm really excited about this
and this
Type
spins,
A machine.
by the
And
way.
then,
Yeah,
this is like in place spinning. And it also did this entire long piece with almost no variation. And then with the techniques that they use, they got the edges and the tip to be like really smooth. So, and then the shimmer is really beautiful too with this kind of metallic
and they use
look.
semi-flex on the handle.
Yeah.
So it's human friendly.
Yeah, it's very squishy. And then they even 3D printed this great Lanhart charm. So this is really amazing, and I'm really excited to see what cosplayers do with 3D printing technology, because to build something like this, like granted this takes a couple days to 3D print, but and model, but once they've done it on Thingiverse, anyone can 3D print and model it. But to build one of these by hand would take like a month. It's just so much effort and detail work. It has a nice heft to it too.
One of my favorite bits of comedy / social commentary was Chris Rock when he said bullets should be $5,000 and guns should be free, because you have to get a job, you have to like actually think about it, like work really hard, and then shoot somebody.
Right.
And they probably deserve it. I think like we're approaching this like this is a 3D printed gun, and it takes a really long time. You have to design it yourself, you have to print it out, and you know what? If you get Gunblade stabbed, you're probably asking for it.
Yeah.
That's a stabbing. Okay. Okay, you ready?
Isn't it a trigger?
Yeah. Okay, the code is Gunblade, speaking of. All right. Raspberry Pi news is just a number this week. Do you know what the number is? 5 million. They have sold 5 million Raspberry Pis. Absolutely incredible. An amazing achievement. For those of you out there who haven't seen this, Lady Ada was in the Wall Street Journal on Tuesday.
Yes.
And
we had Joanna Stern come by, and she wanted to do some project with the Pi 2. We only had an hour, but we put together a motor hat and connected a stepper motor and wrote the Python's code that makes it spin around really easy.
#1 story on Wall Street Journal.
Really?
And #1 video.
Great.
And,
Go check it out. It's a really good video. And she also bakes a pie.
Yeah. Okay. Lady Ada,
All right. You got to put this down, huh?
gotta put it down. You know what time it is?
Gunblade time?
No, we did that already.
Oh.
New product time.
New product time.
Okay. Let's do this. Okay, first up.
Ooh, okay. I've got a lot of demos, so I'm going to set up.
What's this cute chip?
Just give me a second here. I'm going to move this over. This is, it looks like just an LPC 810, but it's so much more than that. It's actually a DSP chip. And it's an LPC 810, which is a Cortex M0 8-bit DIP, which is like pretty amazing. It's got actually like, it can run at like 72 megahertz or something ridiculous, but it's programmed to be like a full synthesizer that takes MIDI in and then does high speed. It doesn't have an analog output. I don't believe it has a DAC output. I just think it just PWMs really, really fast. But it's good enough to do audio synthesis. So I'll actually show off the little demo we have.
Do you want to do a demo on the overhead?
Yeah, I'll do the demo on the overhead because I have this synthesizer. And then we do the lock. And then, hold on, let me move this over here. So over here, it takes MIDI in, so I have to have something that sends the MIDI, in which case I have this Arduino here. And this Arduino is actually sending MIDI commands over like serial, basically, because MIDI is serial. And then it has there's some adjustment pots and some buttons that are connected to the Arduino that I use to control the MIDI messages. If you have something that sends MIDI, you can hook it up directly. And then I just hooked it up to these powered speakers. So I'm going to hold the power speaker up a little bit, and I'm going to start playing music. Okay, I only have like 4 notes, but You can kind of see the quality that you get from it. It's actually really, really beautiful sounding. It's very clean and crisp, and it's very synthesizer-y. But for a single chip, it's got a lot going on there. So if you want to build a musical instrument, I don't know. I think this is a really small, simple way to have MIDI in and then audio out. And I don't remember every single MIDI control that it can listen to, but if you check the product page, I list it handles kind of everything, like tremolos and like glissandros and pitch shifts and all that stuff that you want to do. You can send it over MIDI. You can do it. So it's a cool chip. I'm really glad we finally have it in the store. So pick one up. You do need to get all the other circuitry if you want to build the full synthesizer, but the chip does all the hard work.
Okay. Next up, we got these soundboards.
Okay.
What's going on with these soundboards, Adina?
This is the Soundboard Mini, which is the smallest of the soundboard. We have a couple other soundboards that we've made, and these are all-in-one music makers. I don't have a demo for this one. I'm going to have the demo next week probably because I ran out of time today. But it has on it a VS1000 chip that can decode stereo, wave, or Ogg Vorbis at like any quality very easily. And I also put on a little flash chip, and it has a USB interface. You just plug it into your computer, and then it has a 16 megabyte or 2 megabyte hard drive basically built in. You don't have to use an SD card. You drag the files over, and then you can trigger them either with pins. There's eight inputs, and you can trigger them. And by naming the files, you can create different types of triggers, like loops, and repeats, and press and release, and all the different kinds of triggers that you'd want from a sound effects board. It's very popular. This one has 8 triggers compared to the other ones, but it's a lot shorter. Instead of having the extra 3 triggers and audio amplifier, headphone amp, I just made it compactor. So you just see it has the main chip and the memory chip kind of down here. Otherwise, the software is the same. And then I finally got around to documenting the UART interface. So you can also control it using an Arduino or similar microcontroller that has 3 volt or 5 volt logic. You can send it UART commands to play and pause and list files, basic stuff. So if you don't want to use the pin triggers and you're willing to use a microcontroller, you can also control it over UART. So that allows for more precise control. Like we don't have the pausing capability if you use the pin triggers, because it's just like you press it, it plays. You release, it stops. It's we used it for the sound cup because it's great for just like have something turn on and it just plays in a loop, or it plays different files randomly. But now we also have the UART control documented, so I have it with an Arduino, and I'll do a demo showing how you might want to use it with the Arduino for really high quality audio. It's the nice thing about the VS1000, it sounds really good compared to other sound generators that might use like ISD chips or DACs. This is like really high quality stereo audio. Like if you kicked up to your stereo, it sounds as good as an iPod.
Okay. So next up. New case.
Ooh.
This is a super key case. And as always,
case.
Something I'm really proud of. I'm going to just, so this is our new Raspberry Pi 8 Plus case. And I really like some of the things that you've decided to do with your Adafruit company. So Mike Dole is a fantastic designer, and he is normally someone who, the name isn't on the things he makes, it's someone else's brand or something. He's one of the best industrial designers in the world. And so on the case, it says Design for Adafruit Industries by Mike Dole.
That's right.
And I thought...
You designed it. And then it was cool because he would send us the STL file. We'd 3D print it, do fit tests, and like change decisions on like, should the slot be over here, or tuck this in, or, how should the micro SD slot work? And, we did like about half a dozen revisions back and forth, which meant that when we did go to injection mold production, because getting an injection mold is very expensive, it's like $15,000 to get injection mold made. So we have to make sure that the design's really good and that people will really like it. I mean, a lot of times that you don't see injection molded cases, we go with acrylic, is because we can't justify the $15,000 cost. And also, even after that, you might have revisions or changes to the design, which can cost thousands of dollars if you don't get it like 100% perfect the first time. But this case, this is basically a lot like the B Plus case. Mike Dole did a beautiful job. We have the classic case now, which is the gray smoke bottom with clear top, which I think is kind of the most neutral colored case. But coming soon, we're going to have also translucent purple and blue and red and orange and green and other colors. So if you think that this kind of neutral color is boring for you, please hold tight. In a couple days, we will have the rest of them in the store, and you can mix and match colors. But meanwhile, I'll demo this on the overhead.
Yeah.
Let's go to the overhead, and I'll show this off. So this is the hold on. This is the A+ case, and so the A+ is smaller than the Raspberry Pi B+, and so it doesn't have this section over here with the Ethernet and USB ports. There's only one USB port. The case just basically fits in. There's the GPIO header connections, the USB connection over here, HDMI, micro USB, and headphone out, all cut out. There's a little slot here that you can use to push and push out the micro SD. And then when you close it, we have 2 slots and a cutout. Well, one, we have a slot over here. So if you have a cobbler cable coming out, you can have it come out of the side of the case, and it is very beautiful and easy to use. I think can you go to this photo really fast?
Which one?
This one?
Yeah, sure.
So you can see like that, it can come out of the...
You want me to
I don't know, whatever.
stuff around?
If you can.
You want that?
Yeah.
What do you want?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Put the gunblade down, lady. Just stop pointing the gunblade at me. Okay, sorry.
So you can see the HDMI, the GPIO cable can come out, but then we also have slots in the top. I can't go to that one. And you can see you can also have the camera cable come out the top. So we have a camera cable slot, so the camera cable comes out. It's a clear case, so it's hard to see the slot. And there's also a slot for the display cable when Raspberry Pi Foundation releases display information or specifications. You'll be able to use that. So I think this is just a super cute case. Hats fit in it. It's the same height as the B+ case, so it's designed for any of the hats that plug in. They fit inside of the body. You can take the top off, or you can keep it on. If you have like a TFT or something, you can see through it.
I like the A+. I like the low
And
power.
A+ is a really
Low power,
It's
it's
really
nice.
nice. I think the low power and the small size. I mean, it's just like really cute.
Yeah, 20
$20,
something
yeah.
bucks, and you get a tiny Linux computer that can do almost anything. And then now we have a case. This is so cool.
Yeah, I like the A+. I think we're going to see a lot more stuff with it, especially now that
Yeah.
there's like the hat standard, and also there's the Pi 2, which is the B+ shape. But I have a feeling that they're probably going to backport that design to the A+ and have a Pi
maybe.
2A.
Yeah,
which
we
will
don't
be
know.
the same size. I mean,
We don't know.
I don't know.
We just know they release stuff, and then we adapt.
yeah.
Okay.
And then I think we didn't demo this last week. Can I just show it off real fast?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll leave a couple extra minutes for questions then.
Okay.
Okay.
And
so
then,
you want to show?
Yeah, finally, we have...
I didn't put it in the new product.
I think we didn't have them in stock last week, and so that's why it's a little confusing. But we have now, and I will turn this on. Hold on, just 1 second.
What you trying to do?
I'm kind of trying to light this without lighting it. No, I can't do it. Fuck it. All right. So, shoosh.
We've got kids watching this.
Why would I say something like that? We have our 7-inch 1024 by 600 display, and we now have it with a little touch board as well. So there's a touch overlay, so you can select and drag. I had it open up Scratch. I'm going to close that out. But you can basically use this as a touch screen, and you can see the touch detectors going off here. And it works great with a Raspberry Pi. You can use it with actually anything. This is the audio board. It also has audio capabilities. So it's a nice little monitor. So if you just want a small 7-inch display, but with fairly high resolution, 1024 by 600 is not so bad. Like, you can actually do some pretty serious web browsing on it. Works with any Raspberry Pi or anything with HDMI audio. And we have it in 3 types. One with HDMI only, one with HDMI, VGA, and composite, and then one that has audio support as well. I really like this display. I'm just adding more resolutions and sizes. Check it out if you need to add a monitor to your Pi setup.
Okay, and with that is new product slated. Good work. You did a great job. Okay. We're going to open it up for questions in a second. Go ahead and start typing them right now. But the code is Gunblade, 10% off in the Adafruit store, all the way up until 11:59 p.m. tonight. Your purchases allow us to do this. I was talking with a venture capitalist today.
Oh, where are you now?
I was. We are not
Oh.
taking funding, don't worry. And I was saying, wouldn't it be great
I
if there
shouldn't
was...
shoot him in the face with a gunblade.
No.
No. Here's a nice one.
There's many nice venture capitalists. And I was talking about how great it is that there are some places online that there's no ads. There's the ability to make the type of products you want for the people who want them. and that you have unlimited freedom to publish what you'd like. And so we cover all sorts of things on the Adafruit site. We have cool things on the show. We have lots of different videos. But the only reason we can do it is because people out there buy stuff from us. So thank you, everyone. And that's why we do discount codes. Say thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Okay.
And girls.
So
and cats.
Yeah. So
And
we're
Gunblades.
going to do questions. There's a couple
let's do some
loaded
questions.
up. Lady Ada, if you want to learn math for electronics, where do you start?
Well, you'll definitely need to know your algebra because there's a lot of algebra done. And then if you want to get into heavy-duty electronics, you do eventually have to learn calculus and take like Physics 1, which will teach you the elements of electronics. But if you're just like making and hacking, I think you only really need algebra. I mean, until you're getting into like doing your own Laplace transforms, you don't really need calculus or differential calculus or multivariate. Matrix calculations or matrix algebra is really handy too because it makes the algebra a little easier.
Okay, are you ready? What's the fastest way to get PCBs made delivered without another mill? I would say probably Oshpark.
Oshpark's really fast.
Yeah. Okay. Special handling for the Flora 9DOF, static, etc.
Shouldn't be. Just, I mean, don't rub it against your cat balloon.
Okay. What type of display? Is that a touch screen or is it straight up display?
This is it's a display.
Is it capacitive?
It's a resistive display on top of a TFT display. So it's kind of bonded on. So it's actually two parts. There's the monitor itself, which is a 7-inch 1024 by 600. And then bonded onto it is a resistive kind of glass display. And then we have a separate board that does the resistive to USB conversion. So you just plug it in, it looks like a mouse.
Okay. Next up, question. Last week you said that you mostly write code that uses pointers, C, C++. What are some situations that you would make pointers that preferred method, choosing C++ over Python?
Well, nobody chooses pointers for fun. But the reason that you'll go with C or C++ is Python is an interpreted language, and so sometimes you don't have enough space for an interpreter. There are a lot of modern microcontrollers that do, like we have the MicroPython, which is like an STM32 that has a Python interpreter. But when you're dealing with something like an ATtiny85, it has 512 bytes of memory. You don't have space for an interpreter or like text or garbage collector. Like you pretty much just have like a pool of memory and you just have to kind of manage it manually. And so that's where C and C++ is really handy because you can sort of shove around these, a buffer and you recycle the buffer as necessary to keep things going. And it's a little kind of gross, but it does work quite well. And there's not that many pointers you're dealing with. So if you have pointer problems, you find them out really fast. Whereas I think with Python, I don't feel like Python was really meant to run an environment that could be constrained. So I don't know what happens when it's like you run out of RAM. On a computer, you're not going to ever run out of RAM. That's like nearly impossible. But
yeah, Python wasn't designed with like you're a microcontroller or like.
Yeah, I mean you can, but I don't really know what happens when like things go awray. I guess it's an exception.
You get a bigger server.
Yeah, you gotta know. But it's interesting to see how people are adapting these scripting languages like Lua, which is pretty simplistic, and Python. And I saw somebody that did like Bash shell for Arduino, which was like totally weird and cool.
Okay.
But it's possible.
Speed round.
JavaScript.
Best book to learn about Python. Check in our store. We have a Python book. We also have Python resources. Next up, any news on the Pi-Hat for 40-pin displays?
Yo, I just finished that like 2 days ago, man.
Okay,
Like, come
that's
on.
the news.
Come
Do you
on,
carry a
give me
moisture
break.
sensor that'd be suitable for protecting water on my basement floor?
No, we don't at this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a depth display.
Okay.
Only if you're getting flooded.
This one's for me. Any word on the Adafruit Sim? Yeah, we actually have someone trying to figure out if Adafruit can be basically a cell phone provider. It is taking forever, and it will. But once we get there, it'll seem like it happened instantly. Next up, Circuit Playground. We're filming GS for Ground maybe in March, and we have all the episodes planned. It is the coloring book, A through Z of electronics.
Okay.
Yep. Next up, are you guys going to make a 3G cellular card? Yeah, we are.
One day.
Here's the challenge, and this is for anybody out there. Find a good low-cost 3G module.
Low power, low cost.
Yeah.
You find it, I make it.
Bonus points, any open source code for it at all whatsoever, or non-restrictive ability to make open source code for said module. Okay, next up. Can I hook up your boost converter to USB power source? Will it cause any problems? I'm thinking it will create an anti-juice jacking device.
I I don't know what that is, but yeah, the boost converters have a USB output, but it's just for power. And then on the data lines, they have resistors. So you can use it to charge stuff, and then you can I guess if you mean like you charge it through a laptop, but it's not going to be fully efficient. That's the problem because it's charging the battery and then it passes it through. So you're better off maybe getting a USB extension cord and then cutting out the data lines.
I'm going to improve my schematics to make sure I don't make any fatal mistakes. I don't know. I'd say there's a bunch of
communities.
There's a bunch of circuit sharing communities. Just search for like. You know what I had to say? Search for like GitHub of hardware because there's like a million of them that are trying to do that.
I think also there's a Reddit community where people post up schematics and they review them and stuff.
Okay, next round of questions. Can you do some more?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Next up, how do I wire the Flexi NeoPixel matrix to a Raspberry Pi?
That's a good question. You'll definitely need a logic shifter up. I wouldn't start with that because it's extremely expensive. I'd start with like some basic strip or a couple just raw NeoPixels. And check out the tutorial we have. I don't know if it works on the Pi 2 yet, but you can definitely use it on a Raspberry Pi 1, like the B or B plus or A or A plus or whatever, and get that working, and then you can expand it to the matrix just because like you don't want to accidentally blow it up. But you need just a level shifter and then this PWM DMA thingy. Okay,
if someone bought a 5-inch display backpack without touch, they were wondering if it's possible to add touch capabilities, or do they have to buy a touch driver?
If you bought a backpack and it doesn't have touch, you can't really add touch because the display it's not bonded on. You're better off just getting another one. It's not really possible to add it on after the fact.
This person wants to extend their coder server to their Pi to the internet. How do I do that? How do I do that with the Weave dev kit? I'm not too familiar with that.
That's a good question. You should ask Weaved.
Yeah,
I'm
not really sure. We're going to do Eagle tutorials. We have a few starters.
Eagle tutorials.
Yeah, on learn.adafruit.com we have a few.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's good.
Last up. This is the last one.
Okay.
I need to know the expected range of current consumption of the Trinket 3 volt when the microcontroller is idle mode. I have posted the question in the forums. So, is there anything that they should do?
There is nothing you can do other than get a microcurrent or other high quality, low power, low current draw measuring device and just measure it yourself and then look at the data sheets and do analysis. People always ask us, how come I can't get 30 days time off this? We build hobby electronics. If you need to have something ultra low power, you got to build it yourself because we optimize for simplicity. And unless it says this is specifically for low power, we don't optimize for low power. That's just the trade-off, right? Either it's easy to use and durable, or it's low power. You can't really have both. Very tough. Like cost, low power, ease of use, durability are kind of exclusive options. So I understand you've asked a couple times. You've asked me a couple times. I haven't been able to change my answer.
Okay.
Answer's the same.
Well, that's the answer.
That's the answer.
I'll lock the thread. Okay, next up. It's trivia question time. Lady Ada, what are the rules?
Rules are if you've won a prize on this show, Ask an Engineer, because of the trivia question, you can't enter again. Only one winner per my lifetime. Whoever answers the question in the YouTube or Ustream chat that Mr. Lady Ada sees first wins the prize. The prize today is...
I wanted to do the soundboard, yeah.
Soundboard. You get one of our soundboard minis.
Soundboard mini, so when you win. Okay, you're asking the question tonight.
Yes.
What is the trivia question?
Okay, the trivia question is, are you ready?
Yes.
What Final Fantasy VIII character wields the Gunblade? You just put Final Fantasy VIII disc
so you have to look here.
To your PlayStation 1, and you play as, what's the character's name?
I'm getting ready. 1967 is not the answer. Gunblade is not the answer.
Gunblade character.
1000 is not the answer.
It'd be cool if the Gunblade played as itself.
Ted Cruz is not the answer.
And it's not a chocobo. I will accept that answer.
Okay, so I see it's characters that I don't know.
It's like heavenly something.
Okay, so look in the YouTube chat. That's the first one we saw it.
Sorry, you Hansi character person.
Yeah.
You win.
Yeah, you won. You won.
But I don't know how to say your name.
Yeah. Email support@adafruit.com.
It's Squall.
Yeah. It's Squall, and I don't know what those characters are.
This middle one means heaven, but that's all I know.
Yeah. person with the middle character. We never thought about this. What happens as we continue to go international?
You just copy and paste to the chat like you did. You say you won.
Yeah.
Okay, so person who won, be sure to email support@adafruit.com
Yeah.
to claim your prize.
Okay, that's it for the show tonight, Lady Ada.
Okay.
That's it. You did an excellent job.
All right. Pew, pew.
All right.
I'm going to go to space.
Yeah.
I don't know why they always go into space in these Final Fantasies. It's like, doesn't make any sense. Like, suddenly you're on the moon.
We're here
Why?
every week. Don't forget, 7:30 p.m. Next week's show until 8 p.m. Ask an Engineer.
Every week.
5 years in running. Every week?
We're never going to quit.
No, we probably won't.
We'll probably die on camera.
Okay. Here's a picture of a cat. Here's your moment of Xena.
Got morbid. Sorry about that.
Gotta get out of here.
Later.